Hello everyone, I am Sukhpal Singh Gill from Queen Mary University of London. Today I am going to talk about our recent research work that we have done on predicting the growth and trend of COVID-19 pandemic using machine learning and cloud computing. So this research work that I have done with the two students from the IIT Delhi, Shrestha and Shikhar. So in this talk I would like to explain about the proposed model which is used to predict the impact of COVID-19. And the second thing, how we use cloud computing and machine learning for this prediction model. And the third thing, how this proposed model has improved the prediction accuracy as compared to the baseline method. Baseline method is here is the Gaussian model. So at the end, I would like to highlight some future search predictions and emerging trends. So as we all know about that the COVID-19 was first reported on 31st of December 2019 in Wuhan, that is one of the city in China. So far, coronavirus has been affected 200 plus countries and territories, including US, Spain, Italy, UK, France, and these days it is affecting badly India, Russia, and Brazil. So as per the different studies has been done in the past, so coronavirus is very bad or very dangerous for the people with weak immune system. So like the old people and the patient with life-threatening diseases like heart patients and diabetes, cancer. So in the absence of any curative drug, so we have only one solution: how we can improve the social distancing and how we can slow down the spread. So how we can use social distancing to reduce the spreading of COVID-19. So to solve this problem, we need some robust mathematical models which can help us to track and automate the entire process, and which will also help us to make a like we can make some we can say that effective decisions while solving this problem. And with the help of these models, we can reduce the impact of COVID-19 in various countries. So we have identified in the literature that Alibaba has developed one model based on the cloud computing and AI, that is artificial intelligence, which helps China to fight against coronavirus, which further helps to predict the peak, size, and the duration of the outbreak. And they have also claimed that they have achieved 98% accuracy in the real world test in various regions of China. But we need some model that could be also helpful for the rest of the world, because now this coronavirus is expanding towards the rest of the world. So how we can take care of other parameters such as the population, like weathers and other conditions, because different countries has different social distancing restrictions, lockdown restrictions. So everything is vary from country to country. So it would be better that we have to find out some new model, or we have to design some new model which can help us to predict the impact of coronavirus or COVID-19 by considering the various new parameters. So the main motivation behind this research work is to design a model which can use cloud computing and machine learning to address the three main objectives. The first objective is to track the disease. The second is to predict the growth of COVID-19 by considering various conditions like population size, weather conditions, and lockdown restrictions. And the third important thing is how we can design a model by considering various machine learning policies to manage its spread. Means we can use some effective machine learning policies which will help us to slow down the impact of this COVID-19. The second important thing is that we all know that this COVID-19 is continuously expanding from one country to another country, one city to another city, one village to another village. So we need a huge processing power. So we can use cloud computing to provide the high speed computations to predict the various trends and growth using the machine learning. So cloud computing can provide the effective we can say that the computation power. The third important thing is we need energy efficient edge systems. Like we can predict the impact of COVID-19 on our edge devices instead of we have sending into the cloud data centers. So that will help us to predict the impact of COVID-19 with like very less latency and response time, and it will also help us to save the power consumption. So basically this is the motivation behind this research work. So now I'm going to talk about the prediction model, which uses cloud computing and machine learning for accurate spread prediction, and based on this prediction, how government or citizens can take appropriate actions to reduce the spread of this disease. To gain more insight on the how COVID-19 is impacting the world population and predict the number of COVID-19. So further we will identify the like particular date on which we can expect that this COVID-19 will be ended in particular countries. So this is basically a framework that we have proposed in this research work. You can see this. So this framework has basically three layers. One is the cloud computing layer, second is the prediction layer, and the third layer is the end users. So I'm going to discuss from the bottom layer. So in the bottom layer we have a end users, that can be a patient directly, that can be a gateway devices, and that can be a private hospital and government centers. So basically right now we have a four different types of sources from where we can get this data. And next thing is, once we have a data, so how we can use AI to predict that growth and trend of the COVID-19. So this second layer is going to explain about the prediction as well as the analytics. And in this layer, we have to also maintain the database for the patients, and database that the data that we have recorded from the various end users. And the third thing, because data is increasing continuously, we need a high computation power. For that, we used cloud computing data centers that provide the high computational power to predict the data with more speed as well as the more accuracy. So this is all about the proposed framework. So in our search work, we have used dataset that is from Our World in Data, which maintains by the HANA. So, and this dataset is regularly updated based on the WHO report. So more details about this dataset is available in the description. You can check there. And like for the cloud framework, we have used three instances of single core Azure V1S VMs with 1 GB RAM, and then we have a SSD storage and 64-bit Microsoft Windows Server 2016. So further we use Fogbus for deploying the multiple analysis tasks in an ensemble learning fashion to predict the various metrics like number of anticipated facilities to manage the patients and the hospitals. So regarding the Fogbus, you can go for this research paper. So we have also analyzed the cost of tracking patients on the daily basis, amortized CPU consumption and cloud execution, that is 37%, and only 1.2 USD per day. So that is only $1.2 is very cheap with this model. And you can say this, as the data set is increases day by day, so we need a high computation power. So for that we need more resources, and then cost can be increased as per the data is increasing day by day. So to maintain this cost, we have to control the coronavirus. That is very important thing. Like for machine learning model, so we have explored the literature, and in the recent study by Data Driven Innovation Laboratory, that is in Singapore University of Technology and Design, they have done very good work, and the regression curves were drawn using the susceptible infected recovered model, and the Gaussian distribution was deployed to estimate the number of cases with time. So they have done this. However, in the previously reported studies, means in the existing literature, they have already identified that the generalized inverse Babel model is better than the Gaussian model. So that's why we have selected this GIW model, that is generalized inverse Babel model, for our search work. So there is one more example why this robust Babel fit is better than the Gaussian fit. You can see easily. So this diagram we have taken from the WHO website. So that is epidemic curves. So you can go and you can also check the same thing, and you can see it clearly. So robust Weber fit has better prediction than the Gaussian fit, you can see here. So they have done this comparison for the previous diseases. So the performance of our proposed model has been compared with the Gaussian model, that is from the Singapore University of Technology and Design. So we have compared the performance of our model based on three parameters: mean square error MSE, mean absolute percentage error, that is MAP, and coefficient of determination, that is R square. So results show the model prediction of the spread of COVID-19 for every major country for which sufficient data is available, and model fits had like the coefficient of R square is greater than the 0.5 using the proposed model, and the proposed model performs significantly better than the baseline. Baseline is Gaussian model. So you can check the research paper in which you will find out that how this model is performing better than the Gaussian model in terms of these three parameters, and we have a proper table there, comparison table there, you can check there. So in this slide it is showing the data for world and United States. So you can see this. So it is basically showing the comparison of predictive dates to reach 90% of the total expected cases by baseline Gaussian model, and this is about the green line is showing about the Gaussian model, and the blue line is basically showing about the actual data, and the red line is showing about the our model. So that is the robust Weber model. So please check paper for prediction of other countries. We have predicted for more than 30 countries including US, and you can check our paper for detailed analysis. And this analysis we have predicted on 4th of May, and the figure illustrates that the maximum number of total cases will be in the North America, and the number of cases will also be high in the European continent, Russia and Eastern Asia including China, and a regional epicenter of the disease. So and now you can check the website of the coronavirus cases, and you will find out that so the cases in these places where we have predicted on 4th of May is increasing really. So like Russia, India, and US. So our prediction model is going very well so far. You can check the further detail in our paper, and you can match our predictions with the coronavirus website, a World O Counter. As a part of our comparison result, this figure shows the number of cases and number of deaths for all the countries. So in this diagram it has been clearly shown that number of cases here, and it is basically number of deaths, and you can see this. So we have compared the actual data with the data with the help of our proposed model, like that is the predicted data. So you can see this, everything is almost going to closer, so closed one. So you can see this. So we have predicted till the 26th of October, and the rest details you can check from the paper. So this figure basically shows the predictive mortality rate for few countries. You can see this, and this red line is basically showing the this percentage for the world, and you can see the stats for the other countries like from USA, France, and different countries. You can check. Basically, this figure shows the global heat map for total predicted cases. You can see for different countries as we predicted on 4th of May. So countries with insufficient data for prediction are shown in white, means the countries we have a data less than 30 days. So we are showing with the white color, and you can see this, the color red color, it shows the maximum impact of COVID-19, and the green color is showing the less impact as compared to the other countries. So as part of this research work, we have also included the biases in data. You can see this. So the outbreak of SARS and its corresponding diseases like COVID-19, what is going right now, received diverse responses from the different countries. So countries like India, China, Australia have different lockdown conditions. So the impact of the COVID-19 is increasing or decreasing as per their lockdown conditions. So other countries like Sweden, which has no restriction during the lockdown, Such factor definitely affect the distribution of cases, hence the curve parameters. So we have also noticed these this kind of impact in our like predictions. So finally there is a bias in data due to the diverse travel histories and the contact demographic histories of people from Wuhan. Like near about the end of December 2019, lot of people traveled from Wuhan to the various countries, almost I think 25 countries. So they have traveled, and it depends upon the number of people, and number of people traveled from Wuhan. Some countries received 4 to 5 people, and some countries, like in there was one conference in Australia on that time. So I think more than 30 people from Wuhan has reached to attend that conference in Australia at the end of December last year. So it varies based on the traveling history and the other demographic information. So this model can be used for the real-time predictions because the dataset is updating daily, and based on the number of cases are increasing continuously worldwide, and it could be utilized other parameters, demographic indicators like such as population density, temperatures, and age distribution in the proposed model. So by incorporating these models, these indicators like population density, temperatures, and age distribution, so this model can be more reliable, and it can help to predict the growth and the trend of the COVID-19 more accurately. For the last expected case, we can identify the when this the last case of the COVID-19 is going to happen in various countries. So this will also enable the authorities to lift the lockdown in the phased manner. So slowly they can lift the lockdown in different phased manners. Like they can first start the schools or some important things, and then they can open other facilities like restaurants, and after that they can also go for gym, grounds, and all these things. So and keeping a check on the post lockdown rises in the cases, so that they can make an appropriate plan how to control the uh, like number of increase in the cases after lockdown. So that is very important thing, and that thing can be easily predicted with the help of this model by using the latest data set. The next thing that we have to think about is beyond the lockdowns. That is very important thing as a part of this research work. So in this research work, like currently, travel and group activities have been restricted world over. So there is almost about no travel activity right now. And we have predicted all the cases, and we have done this prediction of and trend of this COVID-19. So when there is a no traveling history, as lockdown are lifted, the number of new cases and deaths will also change significantly from the proposed predicted trends, because they will also include the traveling history or traveling activity that is not going at the moment. So other factors like virus transformations would also affect the distribution in the future. So when this virus is going from stage 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, so as the virus is traveling from one stage to another stage, so this can also affect the distribution. So hence the continuous work is required to ensure the accurate predictions are made and correct measures are can be taken. So this is very important thing, but this is a very good base model for the future research. But as you know that the data set and other factors are also increasing day by day. So to make sure that the predictions are very accurate, so we need a continuous research work that we can do based on the latest data set that is available on various places. So we have also identified various research opportunities and emerging trends for the researchers who are already working in this area. So the first future direction can be like integrating with other time series models. So the other models like ARIMA, that is a time series model. So that can be integrated with our proposed model for the better prediction and analysis in the future. And the second future direction can be like predicting protein structure of COVID. So artificial intelligence can be utilized to predict the structure and the function of various proteins associated with this coronavirus. That is very important thing, and their interaction with the host human proteins and the cellular environment. So further, how you can also you can also identify the impact of this like protein structure on the spread of coronavirus. So you can relate these two things. So this could be a very important future direction. So further, we can also incorporate other indicators such as population density, distribution of age, individual and community movements, and the level of healthcare facilities available in particular states, villages, in big cities. So because this population density, distribution of age, and movements and the healthcare facilities are also varies from one state to another state, one city to another city, and one village to another village. So we have to include all these parameters for the for more accurate predictions. So we can include this into this regression model to further enhance the prediction accuracy. So that will definitely help us to improve the prediction. So that can be a very good future direction. So the next thing we can do is basically like a risk assessment. The risk of various diseases related to the COVID-19 for the people with different age can be predicted using artificial intelligence techniques. So the next thing, that is real-time sensor and visual imaging. So in this we can use the AI-based predictive measures can be taken to prevent the spread of the virus to the sensitive groups in the society. Sensitive groups like the groups which has more chances of this diseases, and maybe you can consider that some slum area. And for example, in traffic camera or surveillance, or we can use like image sensors, we can use like temperature sensors, or we can use drones or robotics to identify the symptoms of the COVID-19 at the various places. Like we have various uh, tall buildings, and how we can find identify the symptoms in the various people. So we can use uh, drone based like a network system in which we can identify the patients who have high temperature, and using some various temperature sensors. So further we can also develop some tracking applications that can also help us to identify the number of patients, or the number of patients who are already getting this disease based on their temperature. So further we can also analyze social media data of Facebook, Twitter, and other social networking websites using AI to predict the more cases of COVID-19 and the worldwide. And second thing that we can do is contactless treatment and drug delivery using the robotics. That could be also very helpful. So AI based robotics can be used to perform the contactless delivery, and they can also help us to treat the patients remotely to reduce the involvement of the medical staff. So we can also save our medical staff with the help of this technology using the robotics, and we can also provide the effective treatment with the help of this robotics instead of involving the medical staff. That can also help us to save our medical staff. So the last but not least, there could be a impact of COVID-19 on the climate change. That is very important problem we have to explore in the future. So there have been a considerable improvements in the air quality across the globe. We all know that now the climate is very good and we are enjoying the uh, air quality, like high air quality. But however, there is prevailing estimation of the revenge pollution following these lockdowns. So just after the lockdown, there could be a chance of revenge pollution. So revenge pollution that China has been already done in 2010 after the recession. So that can also affect the climate very badly. So we have to take the some proactive steps to reduce the impact on the climate after this lockdown. So now I'm going to summarize whatever I have discussed in this talk. So I discussed how improved mathematical modeling, machine learning, and cloud computing can help to predict the growth of this COVID-19. And then we have also presented the case study which shows the severity of the spread of COVID-19 in various countries. We have shown the data and prediction for various countries, more than 20 countries. You can check on the paper. And we used robust Babel model based on the iterative weighing. And experimental results has been clearly shown that this model has better performance as compared to the baseline model, that is the Gaussian model. So and we have also proposed uh, like very promising future directions for the future people who are working in this area, and they can also extend this model to the various dimensions. So regarding the software availability of this model, So our prediction model, the dataset that we have used is our world dataset, and the various interactive graphs that has been also available on various links that is given here, and all these links are also given in the description. You can check there. So this is the reference for the search work that I have presented here today in my talk. And this is the paper title, Predicting the Growth and Trend of COVID-19 Pandemic Using Machine Learning and Cloud Computing, which has been published in Internet of Things journal from Elsevier. And you can also go to the link that is given here, that is also available in the description, and you will find this is a specific page on my website regarding this research work. And thank you very much for watching this video and listening my talk. So I hope I will come with the next video with new research work. Thank you very much.